Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
All right, welcome to episode 37 of Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast. I'm your co-host, Lara Sturm.
And I'm Josh Rohr.
And this is episode 37. Woohoo! So just a reminder, we do stream live while we record each episode. Join us each Monday at noon Eastern time on Instagram live at PL Ballads Podcast to join in the conversation. Also check out at Team Roar at Instagram for all of your powerlifting coaching needs.
Awesome. So we got a special guest with us today. She is a member of Team Roar. She's a multi-time Georgia State champion. She finished in the top 20 at the 2016 Raw Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. Her best competition lifts are 314 squat, 214 bench, 402 deadlift in the 72 kilo class. And she is a mother of two, Zion age 4 and Ezra age 2. Welcome to the podcast, Adaku Taylor.
Woohoo!
Thank
we
you.
love guests.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on here. It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. I hope you're ready. So we just got a couple questions for you. Like I said, we just want to kind of get a little bit of insight into your world and see how things are in your world. So we'll start off. I guess, how did you get into powerlifting?
So I've always been an athlete. Like, I was a student athlete. I went to Georgia State University. I ran track there. So I've always known sports all my life. After that, after graduating, I just kind of needed something to continue to compete in. When I ran track, I strained my hamstring and I never really quite recovered. So I was looking for a sport that kind of helped strengthen me as well as allowed me to compete. So I found, I think, Olympic lifting, and that was good, but I also found powerlifting at that time, and I just kind of liked how powerlifting was and the lifts that we did, and just kind of stuck to it since then.
Cool.
So what about powerlifting did you like?
The deadlifts.
Yes.
I like deadlifting, and that kind of came natural to me. Mm-hmm. I remember when I did run track in college, like we did a lot of lifting, like we did squat in my strength class. I mean, in my strength, we had like lifting classes that we had to go to like twice a week. And my coach there like had us compete. And so I won like the best squat in my, I guess on my team.
Best
so
squat.
I knew, yeah, I know, right. Squats. Oh my gosh.
That definitely came natural then, huh?
So, right. So I knew like I had just a natural strength. So powerlifting did come easy for me. So that's why I kind of went that route.
Cool. So a question I have for you. So you've had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. It seems like every time we're ramping up to really do something, you decided to have a kid, right?
Yeah.
So is there any point like that you ever felt like that was going to be too much and powerlifting was going to have to go?
With my son Ezra, he's 2 now, but when I had him, I had like an emergency C-section, and the recovery was very tough. Like, so I just thought like I lost my strength and I probably wasn't going to recover fully to compete again. But, you know, Josh like really worked with me on a professional level, like just, you know, helped me safely come back and always let me know that, no, you're going to be fine. And so that really helped. But yeah, I thought like, I thought, you know, I just got this major surgery and it was hard enough just recovering. I don't know how I'm going to ever train and compete to the level that I was at before I had him. So.
Yeah. One thing, so I want to bring something up here. It popped up in my Facebook memory or whatever, at the newsfeed memories or memories on Facebook or Instagram, somewhere I saw it, but it was a picture of you squatting 95 pounds, which was the first day you came back after, I guess it would have been after Ezra. But I remember we were doing sets of 5 at 95 pounds. And again, your best squat's 314, right? And you didn't, like I told you, we're only going to 95, like, and you're just like, okay, fine. But as you're doing it, like you're complaining about how hard it is and like how bad it feels and all these things. And I guess I'm just curious, like what, like you never had any like you were complaining about how hard it was and how bad it felt, but like you never flinched in terms of like doing what we laid out. And now you're back, well beyond that. I guess my main question I'm asking here is like, do you have any like words for any other mothers that might be like dealing with the same thing, or anybody really that just, has taken a hiatus and has to come back?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing is just you have to pace yourself and just kind of learn listen to your body, and just take time, because your body changes after a kid, like by far, and especially after 2 kids. So you have to say, okay, well, I may not, lifting 95 pounds. I mean, it seems very heavy. And yeah, I can't just jump in and start lifting, 314 pounds. I have to listen to my body and just trust that I can get stronger. So, but it's good to just take time out and just say, you know what? I'm a mother. I've had 2 kids, and things are gonna be a little slow, but you just have to just keep pushing. So it's also good to have a good team and a good coach, for real, because I've been through several coaches, and it's good to have a good environment that supports you and, and can safely get you to where you want to get to. So, like Josh said, 95 pounds, of course I wanted to say, okay, just, let's go heavier, or like this feels heavy, or like, because I'm always complaining, and he's just always trying to be positive and say, don't worry, we'll get there. And so that was pretty important in the process. So.
Well, to be fair, like you're not a complainer. Like I was just making a point, like that was your first day back. Like there's times where you're in here, like, I mean, you work really hard and you don't really complain. So that's a question I have in a little while. I'll get to.
I was always impressed how you would come in. I don't know, it was kind of, I think we were training at like 9 a.m. at that time, when you were coming back, and you were like, oh yeah, I've just worked a double, or you had just come out of work and then driven an insane amount of time just to get there. Like what drove you to literally drive that far and that early just to
do it.
train?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess just knowing just kind of your goals. Yeah, I used to work night shifts, and that's the only time I had to train was right after work. So I would get a cup of coffee and just kind of keep me awake and just come out and train, because I know, once I go home, I have to sleep, and then I have the kids, and so I have to train right after work. I guess just trying to stay motivated, and just knowing how I feel after I lift. That's my biggest thing is I know after I lift that I feel amazing, I feel accomplished, and just having a goal in mind and just being able to reach that goal. That's what pushes me. It's like saying, okay, and the goal that day could just be getting through the workout. It's like, okay, you have this in front of you, let's just get through it and you'll feel better. So I don't, there's no concrete answer. I wish I could say, oh, this is what did it, but I don't know. It's just the older you get, you kind of lose focus of stuff that makes you happy. So taking time to realize, okay, this actually makes me happy, and I need to invest that time in that. And
Right. Well, I know as a mom, and just, women in general, we tend to kind of give and take care of other people. And then sometimes we have to carve out that time to take care of ourselves. And I know there was a time where I kind of identified, well, I really like to train. And, the only time I'm going to get to do it, my time was usually 9 o'clock at night, like right when the kids had gone to sleep. So I would do my training right then. And then, once they get a little bit older, once they were in school, my training time could shift. So you're kind of working around their schedule and still taking care of them. But at the same time, when there's time, you're like, okay, this is my time. This is it. And I'm carving this out. And this is my time to take care of me and do something I like to do, not really for anyone else.
Right. And like, some people like going to the spa and get a pedicure, mani and stuff like that. I like lifting, that's like a stress relief. And yeah, it helps me like know that I'm still investing in myself and taking care of myself as well. So it gives me both, like the health and fitness benefit as well as just the fulfillment that, I get from it.
Do you ever get like any family members or anything like that saying, well, lifting's not very feminine? Or do you ever get any flack like that from coworkers?
Yes. So before I had Zion, my first, I had family members that were like, oh, you should probably like think about kids. Are you sure this is not gonna prevent you from having kids? Things like that. So I come from like a fitness background, and kind of like exercise physiology and like sports medicine and things like that. So I know, the science and the physiology behind, what I do for the most part. And, I'm like, that's not, that's not going to happen. Like you can still lift and not, like turn into a man or whatever. You can still have kids,
right.
feminine, and if anything, you're building, muscles which will help with the weight loss aspect, as well as building bone density with certain conditions and disease process that we can have in the future. So lifting is very protective. Strength training, studies have shown that is helps out with as far as preventative wise with a lot of disease processes in the future. So there's a lot of benefit from it. But yeah, I've had people tell me that like, why don't you just like do cardio or like do something. I'm like, I do, but like I like to lift. I like lifting heavy things. Like
Right. And I think you could still be plenty feminine. It's just, I think there was some point that I had that thought too, like if you lift heavy, you're just not going to be feminine. And I don't know. I got over that at some point. It just wasn't
my question is like, who defines what feminine is? Like
true.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Right.
What is feminine? Yeah. Like
Yeah. My family would always be like, oh, you're going to hurt yourself. And it's like, actually, well, there's a periodic progression that, you're getting stronger and getting stronger and getting stronger. It's not like you just go out and go, oh, well, hell, I'm just going to squat, 314 pounds today. Never done a squat before, but let's just do it. I mean, that's what would get you hurt.
Yeah.
But
and there are times I think before I started lifting, like like my family, like if I'm carrying groceries from the car, they're like, oh, let me do it. But now they're like, oh no, she's a powerlifter, go get it. Like she's good. Like, so people now they're realizing like, I guess the feminine thing used to be like, oh, don't let the girls lift heavy stuff. Like let the guys do it. But now, like my brothers, they'll be like, oh no, she's fine. Like she got it, like stuff like that. So I'm like,
I'm moving next weekend. What are you doing, Adaku? You want to come over?
Yeah, even my mom, she was the biggest one, like, oh, put the weights down, what are you doing? But now she's like, oh no, my daughter, she's a power lifter, she got it, like take the suitcase upstairs. So I'm like, oh, thanks, mom, cool. So there people are accepting it now, like women in powerlifting. People are starting to say, okay, like it's a thing, and I think it's very motivational for a lot of women to know that they can be in the sport and do it for them and get stronger, and there's nothing wrong with it. So.
Mhm.
Yeah. I realize I forgot to ask you what you do. I know what you do, but for the listeners out there, what do you actually
Right.
do?
So I'm a physician assistant. I'm in the medical field. So that's kind of like, that's a medical provider. Um, I work in urgent care and emergency medicine part-time, but I also work in physical medicine and rehab, kind of like orthopedic. I do that full time, and pretty much I take care of patients. I treat them, so I can diagnose, I can treat, write prescriptions, order labs and imaging and things like that. Like pretty much like a doctor. Um, so that's what I do, and then I also am a full-time mom, so I do that too, and a wife. So that's pretty much it.
Were you going to school back when you started?
Yes.
Yeah.
So so I started powerlifting, I want to say like 2013 or 14. It's been a while, but so when I started, I went through several coaches before I found Josh. And when I started with Josh, I wanted to start with Josh, I got accepted into school and I started training. I started going to school. So we had to kind of get a little creative on how we can continue to train while I was in school. It was really hard. So that, it was kind of like train when I can, if I can, so he was still writing some programming, but I wasn't really able to do the lifts in school because it was just a really tough program. Um, and then around graduation, like, well, and then I got pregnant with my firstborn, and so I couldn't train. um, well, I couldn't really train because with school and pregnant, it was just too much. And then when I had Zion, I was in clinicals, and that's when I was kind of trying to train a little bit more and come to some of the training classes. And so it was a lot. It was a lot in school. But Josh always had tried to find a way to make it work, and that was kept me going.
So we actually, while we're kind of on that topic, we have a listener question. Trueborn Strong asks, what do you look for in a coach?
Great question. Someone who is, knowledgeable, excuse me, about the sport, has experience, has worked with, other people in whatever sport it is. Someone who is compassionate, that knows, like when, like, oh, how do I say this? Someone who knows when to push and when to hold back. You know what I mean? Like they've been doing this so long that they know. Someone who is just a good person. Like I said, I've had several coaches, and like you just have to find that person who is a good person at heart, who knows when to push. You'll have some days where you don't even want to show up, and your coach will be like, "Where are you?" You know what I mean? Like, and when you're there, they'll know what to do. like turn on your favorite music or something like that when you're having a bad day, or like just a good person. Like and when you find that coach, you'll know.
Yeah, not everybody is, I think people take it personally, like, lifters and coaches, if it's not a good fit. But I think, my theory or my philosophy is like, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. That's nothing against anybody. Like, find somebody that clicks with you and you click with, and, it's, again, this is something you enjoy. So enjoy it to the fullest, find the right fit.
Yep.
Good point.
Hope's question. So Hope's question was, you already kind of answered it, but she wants to know how to bottle up your motivation and share it, because there's days that you you drive again, 45 minutes to an hour to get here. And some days like you have to go into work or you don't have the time. So you drive that amount of time, train for 30 minutes. Like there's days where you only had 30 minutes, you got in what you could and then drove 45 minutes to work. Like she wants to know, Hope is my wife. She wants to know how to get some of that motivation. How are you going to answer that?
I love that question. Geez. Okay. Let me think of an answer. Oh man. How can I bottle up my motivation and distribute it? Okay, cool. I would say, everyone is different. You have to find what you love. Um, and you just have to make time for it. I mean, don't okay. Well, let me stop. Like, I hate to just say it's all about me. It's really not. Like, I have an amazing husband. Like, he is my rock. So I cannot take all the credit. Really, I can't take any credit. He's just been so supportive. Um, he's the one that looks after the kids and, allows me to do what I do, and tries to find a time for me to do what I do. So with that kind of support, I feel like, the sky's my limit. So yeah, so like some days when I can only train for 30 minutes or sometimes 20 minutes, like I'm like, at least it's something, just get it in and you know how you feel afterwards. Just get it in. So um just find what you love, make sure you have a good support system to help you, do what you love.
I think there's a great answer.
Yeah.
Really.
I honestly wasn't sure how you're going to answer that. I was expecting a pass. That was a good answer.
She's not scary.
Yeah.
She didn't scare easy.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. So how do you manage all your balancing all that? I mean, what you said was working full time and part time, 2 small children, and not, it's one thing to have a 10-year-old, but 4 and 2, that's a lot. Like how do you manage to just balance all of that?
Yeah, like I said, just my husband, he's just amazing. I don't know what I would do without him. Um, and scheduling, like, on a Sunday we'll plan out a whole schedule for the week. Um, like who's gonna get the kids from daycare and um, what times I train. I mean, you gotta prep. It's preparation. If you don't prep, then prepping schedule, prepping meals, prepping, just the kids' nighttime routine. With kids, it's all about preparation. So on Sundays we have our Sunday meetings where we start off with prayer and we'll kind of like just lay out of our whole schedule, both of us, and we'll just figure out, okay, this is what you're doing on Monday. This, you get off of work at this time, you'll train at this time. I'll pick up the kids, I'll have dinner and you'll warm up dinner. Kids take a bath at this time. So everything is like scheduled, planned out ahead of time. So that's how, you just have to, again, like with him, we just work it out together. So I don't know how single moms do it, to be honest. My mom was a single mom of 5, and every day I'm like, I don't know how you raised us. And I know some amazing single moms out there. So if anybody's a single mom and is on this sees this, if you guys want to comment, and because it's incredible. Just I'm doing it because I have a lot of support, but single moms, I have a heart for them. Seriously, I don't know. So
That would be tough. I'm with you on that.
All right, let's shift gears. Let's get to the the part I've been waiting on here, the music. I'm such a simple person. So you have a very interesting music selection because you mentioned earlier, like turning on the right song or whatever. So talk about your music that you turn like that makes you, I don't know, when you turn it on and you lift better to this stuff. What do you listen to?
So I know a lot of my teammates laugh at me and they're like, what are you listening to? I listen to like Coldplay, Seal, just something with like, just like good quiet melody, because my thing is like, some people listen to like rock and rap and they get crunk and they're like, if I start listening to that kind of stuff, I get too anxious. Like it makes my heart rate go up and I'm just like, I can't really concentrate. So I need something toned down. Or even some instrumentals I listen to, like just to like, Enigma, like Enya, like
Wow.
to just I just need to be chill, like, and then when I have that chill mentality, then I can think of all, like everything like we've rehearsed and practiced, like visualize my lifting, like, and just then I can be able to carry it out. Like, I don't know. It's just
Everybody has their own thing that, makes them tick. I mean, I've got this Kenny Loggins song that, that people make fun of me for. And, we make fun of Josh for all his music.
For everything. So
that's fine.
So,
Wow.
So what are your give me 3 go-to songs, Adaku?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, okay. I would say like Coldplay Yellow. Let's see. Seal, Crazy. And let's see. Let's throw in someone else in there. I guess anything with like Enigma in it, So that's it.
Chill sounds.
Chill.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. I think anything that helps you focus, or ratchet it up, that totally works.
And I think it's important to note too that I think the perception is powerlifters listen to heavy metal and do all this crazy stuff, but that might be what some people do, and that might be the loudest thing that you see, but that's not what everybody doesn't do that. I think this is a good example. Like you do what works for you. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll move on to the powerlifting situation.
Oh yeah.
So this one is coming out on Tuesday. I guess.
Yep.
Tuesday. All right. So and this would be a good one to just ask you, because this is not just a set powerlifting situation. So describe your most challenging day in which you made the decision to still get in a training session.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said describe my most what day?
Your most challenging day. That day that maybe, wow, you really didn't feel like training. You got a lot going on, but you still did it.
Like every day.
So I think that's probably pretty accurate for you. Like, I just want to say this. Let me pause this for a second. Like, I just want to say, like, one of the reasons that I asked you to be on this is because, and Hope and I have talked about this multiple times, like, both of us are just so, I guess, impressed at your dedication to it, because you have every excuse not to be here training. Like, you got so much going on at work. You got 2 kids that, you're raising, like, your time. I mean, you have the best argument that you don't have enough time, but you still get it in. So I think people need to know or see that, I guess, that it can be done, because I'll just be honest. If I'm in your shoes, I'm not training. Like, I'm not training.
Josh, every day, you'd just be like, nope, sorry, it was challenging, not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, like every day, most days, because I train after work. So, you get your work stress is just another form of stress. But after work, you're just like so beat down, and you just want to go home and sleep. But again, you just think about how you're going to feel after you train, how energetic, how, fulfilled that you've actually, did something, that you like, accomplished a goal. Um, and again, it helps to have that support system, like a good coach who you can just say, like, some days I've come in there, it's like, Josh, I just don't know, like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. I feel awful today. And, he'll know when, like, I need to push myself, and he'll know when to, like, decrease the weight. So take it easy. Like, I mean, he's just very good at that, with all his experiences and things like that. So I appreciate that a lot. So having a good coach, um, and then, just with my husband, just knowing that, he'll take care of the kids, and, so that part is done. I don't have to think about that. So that helps. And all I have to do is just show up, So I tell myself, just show up. And sometimes that's all I have is like, I tell Josh, hey, I'm here. Like,
I'll see you next time.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna give you, but hey, I'm here. Like, and I'm like, I thought just showing up would be good enough. But he's like, all right, let's get to work. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Like,
Well, I mean, you're going to show up and then you're going to do what's written.
Right.
You know,
just show up. Yeah. And just start, just like you said, like, look at what's written and just say, hey, I'm gonna warm up. And before you know it, you're like, okay, wow, okay, I'm feeling good. Like the other day we had I was doing some bench, and my first two sets were crap. I'm like, it feels like crap, it looks like crap. And by the third set, I'm like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? And then we were able to add more weights, but like, just show up. So that would be like my takeaway to, like, a lot of people out there who have life and you know just stress and things like that, and want to try to get lifting in. I'll just say, just show up, whether it's virtual training or in-person training. Just show up.
great advice.
So do either of you have like a memory of like one of those days that, I mean, outside of every day for you, Adaku, that was just like not ideal, and probably most 99% of people would have just went home and slept? I have one, which is why I wanted to put that as the situation, but I just want to see if you guys have one.
I have one. I was at one point there was I was in a custody battle with my ex-husband for my full custody of my kids, and it was right before Worlds. I think we were doing like our last heavy, this is it, let's see what we're going to do. And we're about to go to Worlds, and my ex is calling me, my lawyer's calling me, all this stuff's going on, I don't know what's going to happen, it's so high stress, and it seemed surreal. And then I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to shut that off now. And I'm just going to focus on getting this in. And I remember feeling like, oh, I don't even know if I can do this, but you just kind of turn that all off and get back in and focus and get it done.
Yeah. I remember that day.
It wasn't a great day.
Aww.
And then I think, I was at Worlds and he called me, and I didn't even tell him I was in Pilsen. I was in Czech Republic, and I just pretended I'm just not. And, yeah. But you just focus and you get through.
Yeah.
And I was glad that Josh was there to just, kind of snap me out of it and say, we're just going to focus on this. Go.
My next step was to take your phone and throw it in the woods, but I figured that'd be frowned upon.
Yeah, might have worked. Might have been a good thing, actually.
Doctor, do you have? Well, all right, I'll go next. So I will say that I was also a lot younger then. I was getting ready for Junior Worlds in 2006, I believe it was. So I was only like 22, 23. But in the summers when I was in college, in the summers, I worked on a farm, and we baled hay and did everything like that. So I grew up on a farm and lived on a farm too, but I actually worked for a different farmer, mostly just doing baling hay and stuff like that. But anyway, we had a pretty long day like other people would hire us to like bale their hay as well. Like it was kind of what we did. But I remember we started at 7 a.m. that day, and we didn't get done until about 4 a.m. the next day.
Oh.
And I had basically same scenario. I had my last heavy deadlift day before leaving for Worlds. So I got home at 4, laid down, got up at 5, and went into the gym and deadlifted, and then came home at 6 and went back to sleep, and then got up and went back to work at 7. Which, I mean, that was a one-time thing. Like, it's really, I know people that have had way worse, like, but that's so I've been fortunate, I guess, because that's my worst day that I can think of that I still trained. So
Sounds like you had a good excuse not to do it that day.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
But
So like I don't know. Okay, let me try to figure out. Okay. So I guess I could say the day, like I got in a car accident, and so my kids were in a car and somebody ran into it, and so the whole back, like the trunk was like in, and my kids okay, everybody's okay, but I mean, I was just so tired. It was the day before, so the next day, Monday, so we were just exhausted, and I still had to go into work. Had a pretty bad day at work, and and I didn't have a car, so I had my husband. I told my husband, just please just work it out, just figure it out, and he did, just as amazing as he is. I mean, he got me a rental, and I'm like, I just want to go to practice today. That's it. Like, um, and well, let me rewind. I was like, I just want to come home and I want to leave work early. I want to come home. I just want to sleep. And then, we talked about it, and after talking to him, I was like, you know what, just get a car, take care of it, and I'm gonna do my best to just show up to practice. So, I mean, it was really, really stressful, and I just wanted to go home, but I knew how I would feel afterwards. And like again, my husband's so supportive. He got me a car, and I showed up. And then, I mean, I just told Josh, I'm like, you know, at least we're still alive, and all is well, and like it's just train. So that's what I did, just train. I knew how I feel afterwards, and I knew when I got to practice, Josh would be understanding. So, just made it through. And then, that set me up for the rest of my week. So, I felt better. So, yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. I think it could translate really well into one of those new lifter tips. Just show up.
Just show up.
Just show up. Because some days that's all you really, once you get your feet in the door and you start going into the program, you're just going to be another day that you train. And that's kind of the consistency part that's really important.
Yeah. So I was my closing question was going to be, do you have any, I guess, words or suggestions or motivation for anybody that's struggling with time and whatnot? But I think the just show up might be the answer.
Yeah. So just show up. And have a good support system. So whether it means like family, like my sister also helps, my husband helps, my in-laws like help. I grab everybody like I can. Oh, sorry. Sorry, hold on.
Oh, you're good.
I better hurry up. Yeah, so just show up and make sure you set yourself up with a good support system. So just get help, like take the help, because some people they want to do everything themselves. With kids and new lifters, like you're gonna need help. You know what I mean? Like especially if you have like little kids, you're gonna need take the help. Set yourself up and prepare for the week. So it does take scheduling. It does take making sure you have everything set up. So it's not as easy as like, oh, I'm just going to wake up and how do I feel today? It's like, no, I have to The week before I have to schedule for Monday, Tuesday. This is exactly what's going to happen. The kids are going to get picked up at this time. I already have dinner prepared, and you know what I mean? Like, you got to do a lot of work just to be able to do what you want to do, to have time for yourself. You have to actually do work. It's a lot, but it can be done.
But I mean, I think that's important, especially like right now, like you have to be very intentional about things, when you're carving out time for yourself. And I really liked what you had about the, having that meeting on Sunday nights and just talking about like this is what we're going to do for the week. And this is how we're going to prepare for it. So that way you have a plan. You're like, this is what I'm going to do. And now all you have to do is stick to the plan.
Right. Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
Yeah. So make a plan, stick to the plan, and just show up.
Awesome. I like it.
Good stuff.
Well, I think your kids came in a little bit ago, so we probably have taken up more of your time than we should have. But really, really appreciate you being on. And I think you had a lot of interesting insight. And hopefully that helps people out there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast and shoot us an email if you have any questions, comments, concerns, plballadspodcast@gmail.com. And one quick shout out. Happy birthday to James Vang. His birthday is Thursday, March 25th. So if you know James, tell him happy birthday. Tell him Powerlifting and Power Ballads sent you. All right, guys. Thanks again, Adaku, for being on. We'll catch you guys later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.